Hi and welcome to another video of InternationalizeNow. In this video I want to talk to you about the Philippines and how you can live here long term, which visa options are available. And that's already a very interesting point. You have to go here with a visa, it's not a permanent residence. In a lot of Southeast Asian countries or in Asian countries it's hard to get a permanent residence. It's of course possible to get a permanent residence in these countries, but it's more hard, and most times you will get a long-term visa. For example, in Malaysia there's a MM2H. There you get a 10-year social visit pass. For example, I will make an extra video about that. Here in Philippines, of course, there's also some options available. Basically, it's 3 options you can use to stay long-term in the Philippines. One point is for perpetual traveler or young people like me who want to stay long-term here in the Philippines, in the island paradise, and don't want to structure themselves too much in this country. Of course, it can change in future, but right now it's still working. And other things are more for people who are already retired and get a pension, for example, or want just to live with a retirement visa. Let's dive into it. So the first option to stay long-term in the Philippines is of course to marry a Filipino, and if you marry a Filipino, then it's possible to stay long-term in the Philippines. You get something like a permanent residence then. So if you was always thinking maybe to marry a Filipina or a Filipino, it's a possibility to stay here long-term in the Philippines, right? So this is one of the things, but not everybody wants that, and nobody wants to structure themselves so much in a country, and maybe you have already a partner and you don't, it's not an option at all for you. So then there's a second option with a retirement visa. If you're over 35 years old, it's possible to stay long-term in the Philippines. The thing is, you have to be minimum 35 years old. Under that age it's not possible. There's then the third option, I will talk about that. But the second option is with a retirement visa if you're over 35 years old. If you're between 35 and 50 years old, you have to make a bank account in the Philippines, deposit there $50,000, and then you will getting like a long-term visa and you can stay here. As long as the condition not change from the government, you will get a 1-year visa. And you can always renew it as long as you have the money in the bank account, and then you can stay long-term in the Philippines. If you're older, if you're already over 50 years old, then it's a little bit more easy to get this retirement visa in the Philippines. It's this SRRV visa, so it's called. And if you're over 50 years old, you just need to deposit $20,000. So it's similar already like the Thailand visa. I was making an extra video about Thailand, 3 options to stay long-term in Thailand. So if you're over 50 years in the Philippines, $20,000. If you get a pension from your government or from your company or whatever, it's possible if you're alone and if you only stay with one person. And if you get a minimum pension per month of $800, then you only have to deposit 10,000 grand in a bank account here in the Philippines. If you are with 2 persons, you have to show a minimum pension of $1,000 per month. And then there's also just 10,000 $10,000 in the bank account in the Philippines, and then you will get long-term retirement visa. So the third option is, if you don't want to do that, of course there's much more options in the Philippines available, but I cannot go in detail on all these options, right? Maybe I will do an extra video about that. But the third option is interesting for everybody who's traveling a lot, who maybe want just to check out the Philippines. If you like to live here long-term, you don't want to structure yourself very hard here in the Philippines, then it's possible to get like only your touristic visa. Of course, it's not with every citizenship possible, you have to look, but it's the Visa Waiver program. A lot of Western countries are included, like nearly all, I think all European countries, and also US, Canada, and so on. And with this Visa Waiver program, it's possible to stay 3 years permanently in the Philippines just with a touristic visa. How it works, it's very easy. You just have to go to immigration. If you come here, you get the first 30 days visa. You will get a stamp in your passport, and bam, 30 days you can stay. After this 30 days, you have to extend it the first time for 29 more days. And after that you can extend it always for 2 months or for 6 months. 6 months only at a big immigration, like for example in Cebu or in Manila. And otherwise in small immigrations, I'm for example right now in Palawan. Here's only a small immigration, so I can only extend it here then for 2 more months. And that means every 2 months you have to go then to the immigration, extend it, and you need an ACR card. It's like a resident card you will get after, if you stay here longer than 59 days, you have to apply for that. It costs one time $50, and then it's valid for 1 year. It's you need this, but the good thing is with it, You can open a bank account here, for example, in the Philippines, or can try to open it. You can fly with it inside, so for the domestic flight inside Philippines, no problem. You can fly just with this resident card, and there are some other things you can do with it. So in the end, it's at least you get something if you stay here long term. But this is the basically three options to stay here long term. First, you marry someone. Second, you get a retirement visa if you're already old enough and if you have the money. And the third thing is you just stay here long term with a touristic visa up to 3 years. After 3 years, you have to leave the country. Then you can come back after 1 day and can repeat it. But sometimes they make some problems, so better to stay a little bit longer away. And I don't know a lot of people who stay here really for 3 years in a row. Of course, there are some people, but if you really stay here so long, and maybe you have friends here, and maybe you have your wife or your partner is maybe Filipino or Filipina, then it's maybe much more better to have here, marry this person and then just get this long-term permanent residence because you married a Filipino or Filipina. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We will see us in the next video. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, right? And also please subscribe to my channel. Would be amazing if you watch my next videos and always up to date when I post another video. Yeah, and that's it. Come to my webpage, InternationalizeNow.com. There I will show you how to live abroad, how to get second residency, how to legally optimize your taxation, and much more. How to live a free life as a perpetual traveler. So, we will see us in the next video. Bye bye from Palawan.